Hey everyone. For today's topic, I want to discuss a rather unfortunate aspect of modern dating, which is how it seems like a lot of people are kind of broken, and with that, the way they date is they're trying to preemptively protect themselves, which often means hurting the other person before that person ends up hurting them. And it's a really unfortunate thing to witness. I mean, I've experienced this myself. I've also, at times when I was a lot younger, been aware of this and wanted to, be the perpetrator of this behavior. And I've also experienced or witnessed other people engaging in this behavior and just read a bunch of people talking about it online. So at this point, I can pretty much safely say this seems to be a pretty widespread issue. And I will say this is probably something that has affected humanity for its entire existence for the most part, at least once we started bonding together in tribal ways. But it definitely seems like nowadays the problem has become exacerbated, and it's probably due to online dating and social media and people having so many options and just people being less loyal. So knowing that a lot of people when they're dating, they're playing that game of wanting to avoid getting hurt because they haven't worked on themselves and they're broken and their insecurities are guiding their decision making, and they're basically not consciously dating anymore. They're not approaching dating from a perspective of just being themselves, being authentic, and being okay with the potentiality of getting hurt, because it's worth it if it means that you have a chance of meeting someone you could deeply connect with and maybe even create a life partner out of. I've said it before, I wouldn't mind getting hurt by hundreds of women if it meant that at the end of all that pain I would eventually for sure meet the woman of my dreams. I would go through getting hurt and rejected 1,000 times if it meant the 1,001st time I would meet that great woman. That would be worth it to me, because who cares about those 1,000 other women leading up to it? You can toughen yourself against rejection. You can begin to understand that it has nothing to do with you. Quite often people can't quite reject the real you because they don't know you well enough. Usually rejection happens really early in the process. You're just starting to get to know the other person. So if they reject you, they're not rejecting you. They don't know you. They're rejecting this facade that they believe you to be. So very rarely is rejection ever going to be them actually rejecting the real you. So knowing that, it's very easy to go forward not taking rejection personally, because they can't reject the real you. They can just reject this fabrication that they believe describes you, but they'll probably quite often be wrong because they don't have enough time to truly get to know you to even make an accurate decision there. So yeah, rejection isn't that scary of a thing, but knowing how this is a problem in modern dating, how there are a lot of people out there who are broken with their insecurities they haven't worked on, one piece of advice I can give you to better protect yourself is not that you should move forward with a bunch of barriers and walls up to protect yourself. No. That's going to impede your ability to finally meet someone great that you can deeply connect with, because nobody's going to want to break down all your barriers to reveal the real you. Most people are going to want to find someone, if they work on themselves, who already is a very free and authentic person, not someone that they have to spend all this time trying to gain that person's trust. It's just a very, very not fun experience to be on the receiving end of. So don't go that route. What you want to do instead is work on being able to better spot people who also work on themselves, because these are the people you should be spending your time on. These are the people you should feel comfortable opening up with. I wouldn't recommend opening up to average people, because they're quite often the ones who are broken, who have those insecurities they haven't worked on, meaning they're far more likely to hurt you. But people who work on themselves, they're in a different category here. Even if they do end up hurting you, even if things don't work out with them, they usually will approach it in a very different way to minimize the pain that's caused. So I would always say work on being able to better spot people who are also working on themselves. And quite often you'll find the more that you work on yourself, you are better able to spot characteristics in other people who are also working on themselves. It's that whole thing of it's easier for you to understand someone when you have similar characteristics to them, because you know that path, you know that journey, you know those qualities because you have them yourself, so you can spot them in other people. So usually continue working on yourself. It'll make it so that you can spot other people who do so as well. But otherwise, I sound like a broken record to those of you who followed me for a while. Take the time to study psychology. That's one of the foolproof ways of getting better at reading people and determining who actually has taken the time to work on themselves. Psychology really is probably the best way to protect yourself in the dating game, because it allows you to spot characteristic traits and that sort of thing that can reveal a lot about someone's personality. Now, at the end of the day, you always have to treat these as assumptions and not facts, because you don't know until you actually get to know the other person and verify whether or not your assumptions are correct. But it at least gives you a way better basis for approaching dating, because you'll be better able to read and understand people for the most part. So there you go. That's pretty much the gist of what I wanted to talk about in this video. It's very unfortunate how this is a trend we're seeing in modern dating, how you have people who are broken and wanting to avoid pain, so they end up hurting other people. But hopefully now, by watching this far into the video, you have some idea of how you can protect yourself from this behavior while not shutting yourself off from dating and completely hurting your ability to create a beautiful, deep connection with someone else, because that seriously is one of the most amazing things you can achieve in life. Like, I get a lot of people give up on dating nowadays because of this aspect of everyone trying to avoid getting hurt, but I just think that's such a stupid route to take. It's like when people give up on their dreams of starting a business just because it's tough. Like, who cares if it's tough? If you keep at it, you should eventually figure out a way that works. Same thing goes for dating. If you keep putting yourself out there, you keep working on yourself so you can spot great partners, eventually it should pay off. And if you go the route of just not playing the game whatsoever because you're afraid of getting hurt, I don't think there's any merit in that. And I hate to say it, but it's the truth. I don't respect people who do that. I just don't, because to me, that's like copping out, especially when you can create so much beauty in life just from creating those relationships. Yeah, I should make like a separate video on that topic, because it's something I'm passionate about, and it really sucks seeing so many people going that route of just copping out entirely. But oh well, it's not what I wanted to make this video about. So hopefully what I've shared up until here has been helpful. Hopefully you understand what I was driving at here, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you like content like this, be sure to subscribe for more. Otherwise, the easiest way you can help me out is just to throw a like and a comment on the video for the algorithm, and I will see you guys in the next one. Arrivederci!